In this segment, promoter Dana White of the UFC, he's going to answer some questions post the brawl after Khabib, beat Conor McGregor. It was a brawl afterwards, and Dana White's going to take some questions concerning the matter and maybe possible punishment for Khabib for his actions.
Bear with me. This is the first time I'm looking at this stuff. So the gate was 17,200,000. The attendance was 20,034. The fight of the night was Ferguson and Pettis. Ladd and Derek Lewis got the performance bonuses.
I'm kind of confused with that. The fight of the night was Pettis and Ferguson, but the heavyweight guys that fought, they get the bonus. That's kind of confusing because yes, the heavyweight fight, it was decent. It was a slow paced fight. Yeah, the guy came back and kind of saved the night. Derek Lewis saved the night and knocked the other guy out. But that wasn't the fight of the, well, you even agreed that the fight of the night was Ferguson and Pettis. I believe Pettis, not Pettis, but Ferguson should have got the bonus with his performance. I thought his performance was way better than Derek Lewis' performance. I thought he would eventually stop Pettis if Pettis wouldn't have stopped in his corner.
I don't know if you guys are interested in the 50-50 raffle, but it was $65,630. It's pretty good. So $35,815 went to the winner. Yeah, if you give a shit, that's it.
Well, Dana, as you can imagine, we're all trying to make sense of what happened after the fight. Right now, just in your...
Before Dana White answer that, I can tell you what happened after the fight. What happened was Conor McGregor, we all know about the bus incident. He threw the dolly through the bus. And this really started when, I guess, Khabib slapped one of the guys on Conor McGregor's team. And Conor McGregor got on the plane and he came all the way to New York and threw the dolly through the bus. Made a whole spectacle of that. And to me, the UFC using that as part of the promo, because Dana White said, the one guy said, "Are you sure you want to use that footage?" And he said, "Yes, it's part of the storyline." But what Dana White have to understand, if it's part of the storyline, then it's repercussions from that, because Khabib felt very disrespected that the guy threw the dolly through the bus. He brought 30 guys with him. He kept saying, "You brought 30 guys with you. Why you ain't approach me one-on-one? You had to have 30 guys with you." And Conor had no response. Conor only response was that I had my hands up. I showed you that I didn't have no weapons in my hands. But Conor did have a lot of guys with him. But if Dana White wants to use, and the UFC wants to use that footage as part of the build-up, they have to understand that that is a lingering thing that's going on in Khabib's mind, that the guy disrespected me on that level, and now he's disrespecting me by talking about his father, talking about his religion. You just can't do that, man. You can't go around talking about people like that and don't expect for some people to react, because some people, people say sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt. But it's just certain things you can't say and can't approach guys with, and they're gonna feel a different type of way.
Words, can you tell us what you saw, what did happen, what unfolded after everything?
Yeah, so I saw one of Conor's guys yelling at Khabib, and Khabib ran and jumped over the octagon, and went after him. Then eventually, two of Khabib's guys got into the octagon, and one guy hit Conor with some shots. And
yeah, I seen after the fight, I seen Khabib after he choked Conor out. It looked like he spit on Conor after he choked him out too. It looked like he spit on the man, but after he choked Conor out, he looked over to Conor's corner. Now, we can't hear the audio because it's loud in the stadium, and the commentators are talking. So I guess somebody from Conor's entourage said something. They probably was saying something throughout the fight. We just don't know about it. But Khabib threw his mouthpiece out his mouth, and then he went to go jump the cage and attacked whoever was on that side of the cage. I believe that was Conor's trainer or something like that. And some Khabib people came in the ring and punched Conor in the back of the head or whatever. But like I said, that this whole atmosphere was started. Yes, Khabib did. I guess he smacked somebody on Conor's team, but to me, Conor went way too far when he threw that dolly through the bus. He not only tried to get Khabib, but he ended up injuring other fighters, and other fighters could not compete on that card. So he not only injured and he not only tried to get to Khabib, he injured other guys, other people on the bus, and trying to get to Khabib. But you have to take the good with the bad, man. You know, the UFC wanted to use that as part of the promo. You had to know that this type of thing was going to happen. Now, Dana White could have had more control of the situation if you would have just kept all the excess people from each team back in the locker room and they can watch it on the TV, on the monitor. He should have just only had the trainers for Khabib's side and the trainers for Conor's side out there at ringside, and the other people that part of the entourage should have been in the back and not able to come out there ringside. Because you had to know this stuff was gonna happen, man. Like they are too. This has nothing to do with just building up the fight. This has deep animosity between these two camps. So yeah, Dana White said there was a lot of police there, a lot of Metro police there, but you could not contain that to the point to where you wanted to contain it because of the animosity that was built up in this fight. And Khabib did a good job throughout the promotion of the fight, keeping a straight face, but after he beat and destroyed Conor McGregor, which I thought it was handily. I thought he beat Conor McGregor handily. You know, the emotions flying high. You know, people still chirping, and you know he just had enough. Like I said, it's some people just about that, and just some people just talk about being that. Now, I'm not saying Conor McGregor is not a tough guy. You know what I'm saying? He is, but you know, Khabib is on a different level. He's a guy that's really willing to take it where you want to take it at, and sometimes Conor is just talking just to build a fight.
From behind, and then that's it. That's what I've seen. I haven't looked. The Nevada State Athletic Commission pulled the footage from us, and you know, there's an investigation going on. They are withholding Khabib's purse. They are not withholding Conor McGregor's. They looked at the footage and felt that there was no need to withhold his.
Yeah, I agree with that. I largely agree with the fact that they're holding Khabib's purse and giving they're not holding Conor's, because Conor, he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything to excite the brawl. So his money should not, his purse should not be held. But yes, Khabib, yeah, you wanted retribution. And for every action, there's a reaction. I see Khabib getting a big fine. Like I see this being a huge fine. Now, I don't know if the UFC going to strip him. Now, Dana White did say after the fight that he didn't want to put the belt on Khabib in the octagon because he didn't want the crowd to further ensue. So I don't know if he. So far he's not stripped. As far as you know, the word is Khabib is not stripped, but they could strip him or they could suspend him, and you know, if they suspend him for a long time, they can use that as a moment to strip him.
So they gave him his, and they're keeping Khabib's.
With that in mind, I mean, we didn't see the belt put on Khabib tonight. Is he still currently right now the champion, or is that something you're reviewing as well?
Yeah, no, listen, being in there in the middle of this thing when it was going on, I felt that I have to start worrying about the fans and people that are inside the arena, media, the guys that are, you know, that are there watching the fight. And I felt that if we put the belt on him in the middle of the octagon, it was going to rain. And I thought that people would throw whatever they had into the octagon, and I thought it would be.
Yeah, that was a great move by Dana White not doing that, because that would have further poured salt in the wound after Khabib jumped the fence. After he choked out Conor, then jumped the fence and fight Conor's entourage. Conor got jumped in the ring, in the octagon, and now you putting the belt on him. Yeah, it was a lot of Irish fans in there, but I thought the police did a great job, because that could have escalated. That could have been horrible. That could have been really, really bad, because it was a lot of Irish fans in there. I'm pretty sure it was some Russian fans in there, but it was a lot of Irish fans in there, and they could have started pouring out and started fighting. And once, to me, yes, you have a lot of police officers there, but it was not enough police officers there. If that place would have turned up, the police officers would have been vastly outnumbered. We could have had some possible casualties, a lot of injuries, and they said the mayor was there and he had to be rushed out because they thought it was going to be a big brawl. They thought a big brawl was going to ensue. So yes, Khabib will get heavily fined.
A dangerous situation, so I didn't do it. I said we're going to be lucky just getting him out of here without him getting pelted. So that's what we try to do.
You mentioned the athletic commission, but we saw Las Vegas Metro involved as well. I'm sure it's still kind of unfolding right now, but are you aware of any legal implications, any charges that are being filed against Khabib, his teammates?
The way that works is Conor was one of the guys who was attacked and things like that. Conor refused to press charges.
Okay, Conor refused to press charges, so they won't, face any jail time. I mean, that's probably good on Conor's behalf, but see, that's part of Conor's persona. If Conor McGregor would have pressed charges, he would have looked weak into a lot of people's eyes that think that Conor McGregor is this, overly tough, guy that, kind of indestructible guy. So they would have looked at him a different way. So that was a good move on Conor's behalf not to press charges, because if you'd have pressed charges, that would have been. He would have been a laughing stock.
So the guys that they did have, they've released. There were
Conor get to keep some of his dignity by not pressing charges. You know what I'm saying?
3 guys from Khabib's team arrested. I think they were from Khabib's team. I don't know. That were arrested and they were released because Conor didn't want to press charges.
How about for you internally? I mean, it looked like 2 of the guys that got in there, we believe were on the roster. I mean, Islam Makhachev and Zubair Tukhugov. Would you take sanctions against him or Khabib?
Of course. The guys who jumped in will never fight here. They'll never fight here. Listen, I've been working hard for 18 years to build this sport, and many of you I know there's a lot of media here tonight, and some of you this is your first event. I can promise you this is not what a mixed martial arts event is normally like. And when you have such an amazing event that we've worked hard to build over the last several months, and it goes perfect. I mean, literally, it was too eerie. I kept saying this is too.
But I don't understand why Dana White is caught off guard. He's the one that explained to a lot of reporters that these 2 camps have a lot of animosity, and it's real animosity. So, I mean, my thing was he should have left the excess people, of both camps in the back room, and they could have watched the fight on the monitor. Because, yes, Khabib ended up jumping the fence, attacking, I think, Conor McGregor's trainer. But maybe his trainer don't say anything if it's not a lot of people out there that's behind him that he know can possibly protect him. Like, some people, they get out there and they talk a lot of crap because they know they got a lot of people behind them that can protect them. So maybe he wouldn't have said anything. Maybe it wouldn't have, it wouldn't have escalated to that level. But to me, you got to take all precautions, and get the excess people out of there. Get the excess entourage. All the entourage is for a fighter, specifically for a fighter, is guys that's willing to do things on behalf of the fighter to protect the fighter. So I just thought they should have just kept them in the back room. They could have watched the fight on the monitor.
Crazy, man. Everybody made weight. Everything's so smooth. Everything's this and that. Took all the right precautions. Those of you that have been to many events too, you've never seen this many Metro police officers in the building, and security was unbelievable. We had meetings. I think the last meeting we had with both teams was during the OSP Reyes fight. We did another meeting with them on what's going to happen, and this is the way I was going into the octagon, and nobody else until I felt like we had control, and I would determine who could come in and who couldn't.
You see, you should have controlled whether the guy stayed in the back and watched the fight on the monitor. And no one but the trainer should have been able to come in the octagon anyway, because that way you can keep guys from taking possible cheap shots at other guys. But that's my take on it, man. You know, you get the good with the bad. The same thing you try to prop the fight up with is the same thing that can probably come back to bite you. But I'm out, y'all. Subscribe to the channel.